thank you very much. Setting us up perfectly for my next guest, who was part of the group of Republican senators in Israel this week who toured the damage caused by the conflict. And Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty joins me now with his first take. And we want to hear from you about the dynamic that's playing out here at home after what occurred so far away. What is going on between Democrats and Republicans on the Hill over this?
Well, thank you for having me back on, Harris. And I would say this, just as I told the people in Israel, there is a small yet very vocal minority in the Democrat Party that is pushing back against our strongest ally, Israel. Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East and have been since 1948. I was there to stand strong and show our continued support for Israel. That's true from Democrats, from independents, from Republicans. And as Senator Graham said, we're going to, in the end, stand by and prevail and make certain that we've replenished Israel's defenses. Those defenses, Harris, had enormous accuracy. They saved not only Israeli lives, but Palestinian lives. Hamas launched 4,000 rockets on Israel over the 11-day period. And the Iron Dome defense mechanism did a miraculous job. Can you imagine if the Israelis had to use something more crude, more blunt? Many more Palestinian lives would have been lost. The vocal minority in the Democrat Party may squeak, as they say. They may make a lot of noise, but I think the American public clearly is with Israel.
So, and I guess the bigger point in all of this is, where is President Biden? I'm reading in some circles, the criticism is that he may be the last, sort of the last beam of light, if you will, shining toward our strongest ally in the Middle East, Israel, because progressives may not be in that place with him. What do you say about that?
He needs to be that last beam of light, Harris. You're right in calling it that. And President Biden's got to look forward and stand up to these very liberal voices, these very left-leaning voices that seem to be pulling both him and his entire party far to the left. Now is the time to stand with our allies. Now is the time to demonstrate to Israel that we're going to stand strong. I think the biggest problem that President Biden's got to encounter is that at the very root, it's his embrace of Iran that's emboldening Hamas. It's emboldening these other proxies to step up and attack Israel. We're being tested. President Biden needs to appreciate that, and we need to stand strong with Israel right now.
Here's another fold, if you will, in kind of the tapestry of pushing against the Jewish community. New websites now, and one in particular that I'll name is Vox, is getting trolled online for this headline. It says, violent anti-Semitism spiked in the U.S. during the Israel-Hamas war, and we don't know why. One critic tweeted this: if only the perpetrators of this violence were carrying signs and flags and screaming at their victims about why they were attacking them, Vox might be able to crack this impenetrable code. Obviously sarcastic. What do you say?
I think anti-Semitism has no place in America. Racism has no place in America. That's not the American way, and we need to stand up against it at every turn. You'll hear my voice. You certainly heard it from Senator Graham. You'd heard it from Senator Cruz on our trip. We stand with Israel, and we're not going to tolerate this.
Just your last quick thought on why you think it's popping up here in the United States. You've seen the attacks, the videos going viral.
Well, again, back to the small, I think, but very vocal minority are being fueled by a media that is very left-leaning. They're trying to pull the Democrat Party in a direction that I don't think America wants to be, that America will not go. And again, I'll state this from the standpoint of Tennesseans. We stand with Israel, whether they be Democrat, Independent, or Republican. Tennesseans are standing with Israel, and I think that's true for the majority of America.
Senator Hagerty, thank you so much for being on the Faulkner Focus from the great state of Tennessee. Thank you.
Thanks, Harris.